Hello guys and welcome back to the Tinkering Corner. This is the second video of me building the CNC, and I have here some of the parts, some of the parts for the x-axis that I already designed and print. So let's look at them one by one, shall we? First we have this part. This is gonna be the X carriage. This is basically gonna be the one sliding left and right and so on. At the back is gonna have 3 bearings that are gonna pop in here, which I can show you right now. They pop up like that, and then you can take one step tight and just pass it through the hole like this, like that, and then you can zip tie it in place and it will never go away. Here we have also where the belts are gonna go. Basically this little part here, it's a clamp, and it's the same way as the other one for the y-axis, where you clamp the belt into this thing, and one of them you have to zip tie in place, and the other one you can just tension by pulling it and then tightening this part. Now this part has also 4 holes for nuts and screws. Now this go to these parts, which are like way in there and they don't move at all. And the reason why these are 2 separate parts, 3 separate parts, it's because it's easier to print if you have these 2 separate from this one. But anyways, this was gonna hold the C-axis. Basically the C-axis is gonna be held into this part by using threaded rods with lock nuts. You're gonna see it later. It's gonna be hard to explain now, but these are gonna be where the threaded rods are gonna come in and then be tightened to these sides with lock nuts, so it can stay in place. But yeah, that's about it. Not much. It's just the part that moves left and right. So these 2 parts go together because this is the bracket that is gonna hold the motor for the x-axis, which goes something like this. Then this part is gonna attach to the 1515 extrusion, and it's gonna go basically like that. And then on the other side we're gonna have this one, which is the idler for the x-axis. It basically just takes the belt and then just loop it around. This is held in place by 5 screw that doesn't make it through, and then it has a knot, and then this is gonna be held to the 1515 extrusion by using 2 screws. It's not gonna allow it to move around, which is great. So that's those 2 parts. The belt, this carriage is gonna be basically in the middle, and the belt's gonna go through like that. Moving on, we have these 2. These 2 are basically where this is gonna ride in, and they're gonna be mounted into 1515 extrusions. It's the same basically almost as the ones on the y-axis. The difference is that it has the screws in different positions in comparison to the ones in the y-axis, but it's basically almost the same thing. It's just gonna hold in place this 8mm rod by clamping it in place, so it's not gonna be able to move anywhere, and then this part can slide through it. I have 2, and then they're gonna be both attached to 2 1515 extrusions. The actual rod is gonna be way longer. It's I don't remember how long it is, but it's way longer than this one. And yeah, these are clamped by an M3 nut and an M3 screw that goes through it. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Then we're gonna have this. This is not part of the x-axis, but it is part of the kind of like the electronics of the machine. Basically what this is a holder for the power switch of the machine. You can take one of these switches and then pass it through here, and then you can pop it in place. It stays in place like that. You can just go turn it on, turn it off, and then this goes screwed in on the top of the machine, basically on one of the 1515 extrusions. But if I ever wanted to move it, I just have to like move it to another 1515 extrusion, because this right here it's about 15 by 15, so it's not too bad. Should work. I'm gonna put it close to the power supply just in case. This is gonna allow me to basically kill the power that is going to the power supply whenever there is something wrong or I just want to turn off the machine. Another thing that I want to show you guys is this. This just arrived today, and these are the copper plates that I'm gonna be milling with this machine.
So I can get my open it for you guys. So they come in packs of little packs of 10.
As you can see, these are 4 by 3 millimeters. These are 100 by 75, but in inches they are 4 inches by 3 inches, and this contains 10 of these ones. These plates are basically sandwiched together, and they contain FR4 glass epoxy in the middle, and on the outside it contains copper. So basically what you do is you mill the copper, and then you expose the FR4 glass epoxy in order to basically, Jesus Christ, in order to create the outside of the tracks of your PCBs, and then the inside is basically gonna be the copper that you leave behind. Jesus Christ, this is so well packed. So here we have the plates. They're pretty clean, even though they have some really small scuff marks, but they should be okay. You can see there the FR4, then copper, and also copper. The good thing is I'm gonna be able to do double-sided copper PCBs. And the middle layer is 1.6 millimeters, and then the two combined layers on the outsides are 1.4 of copper. So I have 50 of this. I don't think I'm gonna be using all of them at once. I mean, it's gonna be just for prototyping and making maybe one PCB sometimes. So I mean, it's gonna be good enough, I guess. So I'm gonna be coming back and I'm gonna show you if the parts that I designed for the X-axis actually work or not. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it has been like 6 goddamn hours since I recorded the other video, and basically most of the time it took was basically cutting screws for all these screws, because all the other ones were pretty long, so I had to just sit around and just cut a bunch of screws. But the other part was also building the whole thing. I zip tied already all these bearings to the back and then put it in place. It's kind of loud, but I think it just needs lubrication and for me to clean these rods, because they're pretty dry and pretty dirty. So I'm gonna do that and also try to lubricate the inside of the bearings. The whole build, it was just a nightmare basically, because it was just weird to get this in place while having this already in place. That could have changed. I had this back that I didn't remove, so it just made everything more complicated. But yeah, so far it's pretty good. it's solid. Everything is solid. Nothing is moving around. I still need to install the motor there and also the belt so it can just run around. I also need to lubricate this because it's still sounding very crunchy. But yeah, I'm gonna come back once I wire everything up and put everything in place and so on. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so it's been like an hour now and I'm done putting the x-axis together. If you guys can see, it's actually working, so it's pretty awesome. It's actually pretty quiet when it's moving with the motor. Y-axis on the other hand, it's louder, but it's to be expected, I guess. I can get closer and show you guys how loud it is. So I mean, it's not that loud, but then again, this machine, when it's gonna be milling, it's gonna be loud as hell. Like, it's gonna be loud, so at that point it doesn't really matter anymore. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. We got two axes working now. I can now do cool stuff with them, like move them around and so on. Of course, we still need the Z-axis to be complete, but so far this is pretty awesome so far. I really love how quiet it is when it comes to like being something that I actually designed. So yeah, I mean, other than the fact that it was really annoying to put all the things in place after I already had that assembly almost complete, like that whole top assembly complete, so far it has been pretty good. I'm gonna now zero it and then try to run some G-code now. So I'm gonna zero now. And it's perfectly in zero because I already reset it to zero. So later on I'm gonna be getting end stops, so I don't have to be messing with the zeros and so on. So I always have it zero itself, and I don't have to worry about it crashing or something. Like it's a little bit more self-sufficient. But I'm gonna open the G-code here. If you guys want to listen, here it goes. So that was about it. It's not too bad. The belts are a little bit loose, so I gotta work on that and other stuff. I mean, but so far it's pretty good. But yeah, so far that's about what I have now. It's almost 3 a.m. so I have to go to sleep. So goodbye everyone, and have a very, very good day or night or whatever.